Alright, so people that haven't seen it before, this is Mythgard. I'm going to kick off with some more blue-red aggro, because I was enjoying that yesterday, and it's a good intro to the game. This is a game that, in addition to having really good gameplay, it's just really good software. It's made by a small indie studio that has 10 people working in it, and just like every feature you expect the software to have, it basically has. It has a spectator replay mode. It has social features where you can follow other players and spectate their matches. It has an in-game deck tracker. It has an event log, so in case you miss something that your opponent does, you can go back and look at it. The gameplay is very interactive and has a ton of player agency to it. So it's got a lot of good things going on for it. Yep. The resource system in this game is very straightforward. As opposed to having lands in your deck, you can take any card that's in your hand and burn it to turn it into a resource and a color. So there's 6 colors in this game. So I'm going to take this red card and I'll drag it down here, and I'll gain 1 total resource and 1 red gem. This card costs 1 total resource and 1 red gem, so I'm going to go ahead and throw that into play over here. When you deploy units onto the board, you deploy them into one of 7 of these different lanes. And the way combat works in this game is your units can directly attack other units. However, unlike Hearthstone, where you can just attack people's faces, you can see my opponent played a blocker here, so I actually can't attack past this blocker. I'm forced to attack, and you can see it says these will trade here. My opponent looks to be playing an aggressive deck as well based on their infuse power. So my life tap minion is probably pretty valuable in an aggro mirror. So I'm going to go ahead and burn this blue card. And then this minion has rush. So I'm going to go ahead and play this out here and trade my 2/2 with rush for their 2/1 life tap guy. So that way I keep my life tap unit around, because being the one with the creature that gains life in an aggro mirror seems valuable. When you're playing aggressive decks in this game, you tend to want to spread your units out, so they're a little bit harder for the opponent to block. Opponent had another 2/1 there, so probably going to end up trading off. One of the things that's really nice about this game is the way the resource system works is, generally speaking, when you're playing an aggro deck and you draw your 1-drop on turn 3, it kind of sucks. But in this game, you can take your cards that are no longer ideal to curve through and just burn them off. So you have a lot of control over not only how many resources you have, but also how you curve out is dictated by which cards you're turning into resources. So I have a 3/2 with rush here that I could play to start pushing more damage. However, Panic Raider is a card that every time it hits my opponent, it gets a little bit smaller and draws a card. So I'm going to go ahead and play this out and smack them with it to draw a card. So I actually burned a multicolored card earlier this game, and I can go into my deck tracker and show it here. So Manny, Queen of the Tides here. You can see the blue circle and the blue triangle in the middle show me that this card is going to burn for blue when I burn it. So the middle, the color on the circle and the middle stripe dictate what you end up getting when you burn. So they appear to be mono red so far. I'm going to go ahead and burn the giant stairway here and then play out my oak down over here. I have this card Thunderclap here, which deals 2 damage to my opponent and all of their minions. So hopefully they're going to play some more stuff out this turn that'll die to Thunderclap. I'll get to clap them next turn and get a 2-for-1. They killed my tree. Yep. When my tree dies, it lets me look at the top 3 cards of my deck and then draw one of them. I think I'm going to go ahead and grab the Thane here. Actually, maybe Soul Shepherd's good. Yeah, I'm going to grab Soul Shepherd, actually. It's a card that says whenever one of my other minions dies, I get a 2/1 for 2 that gets generated, kind of as like a token-style card. So I'm going to go ahead and burn this Firesong Prodigy. and play my soul shipper out over here. My opponent's archetype tends to have minimal ways to kill larger things. So since they played a removal spell on my oak last turn, they're less likely to have removal for this, which then I can start deploying rush minions to trade with theirs and generate extra value. Add another removal spell. They're a little bit up on life total here, but I think I'm just going to try and race them a little bit rather than use this thunderclap right away. Because again, I just kind of want to get more value out of this thunderclap. So we're a little bit ahead on board. We have tied life totals. They have one more card in hand than me. So pretty close game, all things considered. Ichor Feast is good and bad. That draws them 3 cards, but it loses 3 life, and that's them spending resources that don't impact the board this turn, which seems good. What do the numbers mean on the top left? Top left of what?
The way is closed.
So waiting with this thunderclap really paid off here. So I get to go ahead and give them the clap, which does 2 to their board and 2 to them. And then these both get to hit them. And I think I'm going to go ahead and burn these trapezists here and play a thane out down. Oh, I don't have a blue source. Messed up. So this is a good example of the resource system in this game. Is this card costs 2 mana to play, but it requires a blue gem specifically. And I spent both my blue gems on the thunderclap, so my color's kind of catching up with me here. I should have done that and given one an extra attack before I attacked with those, so I missed a point of damage there. How much did I put in? That is probably unbeatable. Yep. Well, I guess I could draw my other thunderclap, huh? Well, shoot. So, 7-ring ritual creates a 3/1 in every one of their unoccupied lanes. Which was all of them. Yeah, where's my clap now? I thought we got good value out of our clap. Little did I know. I think we can stay alive, but we're probably just dead. All things, and I can technically stay alive. So this can kill this, and I can ignition. I guess I actually can't. I could burn this. I'm gonna play the thane here. Dead to a lot.
In the center ring.
Yep. Close game. Close game. If I'd have been more conservative with my clap, maybe we end up winning there. I don't know that I'm supposed to play around 7-ring ritual though. One of the ways this game balances its cards is the rarity of a card dictates how many of that card you can have in your deck. So 7-ring ritual is a mythic, so you can only have 1 copy of 7-ring ritual in your deck. So I don't know that I'm supposed to play around that necessarily. I think I'm happy with most of my decisions there. Again, this game is definitely a bit lower variance than Magic because they pull the resource variance out of it, but definitely still a card game. There's things you play around and things you don't. Whether or not how your decisions line up can impact what you have going on. How much money do you need to spend to get started in this game? So one of the things I really like about this game is that to get a real feel for it, you don't have to put any money in. So every player, when they create an account, they get 2 of these feature decks. That's these decks with this F here. And feature decks are designed by community members and are available to play without owning the cards. Your decks rotate look at that. The client just tells you what they are. That's great. Yeah, you could probably build within a few cards of this 2-color aggro deck that I'm playing, maybe sans 1 or 2 of the mythics with just the $10 starter pack. Other people who have free-to-play the game have said it's fairly free-to-play generous, but I whale most of my games. Opening hand's a little bit awkward here. I think I'm just burning ignition. I have a lot of these blue cards that I want to burn off, but I have a red 2-drop, so a little bit of tension there between, like, these are cards I'd like to burn, because I don't really need them just yet, but I need to burn other cards to be able to play this out soon. So the red card, it's medium for us. Let's burn Magmataur here, and then play Firesong Prodigy over here.
Wanna burn?
Tweeting that we're shipped into Mythgard. What does this do? Maelstrom at the end of turn deals 1 damage to all minions in the opposing 3 lanes, the adjacent friendly lane. So enchantments occupy a specific lane and then provide an impact every single turn. So this is going to be at the end of every one of their turns, going to deal a damage here, here, and these 3 lanes here. Thanks for the 2 years, Alex. So I can go ahead and kill this here, but this is going to die next turn. And I don't have enough movement to get out of the way. I can only move a unit one spot at a time. I'm going to go ahead and burn Manny, because we don't really need her till much later in the game. And then I'm going to go ahead and play a Trapezists out over here to the left. Smack their face, and then pass back, I think. There's really no point. I want to save Ignition as a potential removal spell, I think. Yeah, the art's very well done in this game. Enjoyed the design of it overall.
Attune then.
Okay, so don't need 3 giant stairways. So Wings of Abaddon is one of my favorite cards right now. So there's a 4/1 with Rush, so it can attack right away. And it can sacrifice another one of my minions to gain Immortal till end of turn. So we're going to eat my 2/2, so my 4/1 can eat their 3/4. And then pass back. Breach, draw a card. So every time this hits me, they'll get to draw a card. That doesn't sound particularly good for me. This is a 1/2 with armor 1, so it takes 1 less damage whenever it takes a hit. Huh? Did the overlay unload itself? Something with Twitch unloads the overlay once, and then when I reload it, alright, overlay should be back. Hi, Phoenix. All right, so I think I want to burn a red card here. I think I'm just going to put Giant Stairway here. This lets them hit me with this and breach to draw a card, but using all my resources to play out this Giant Stairway sounds really appealing. This is stunned for a turn now, though. Stunned until the end of its next turn, so this is not going to get to do anything next turn. This is for Pioneer Jeskai Fire's Walker Edition. Thank you for the pile of biddies, Alex. I really appreciate it. I'll get that added today after we're done. So next turn, I can burn a 6th resource, and then I can Magnus plus Ignition to kill their 1/3, which is nice. That's a big in. The nice thing about this dealing 2 here is this is a 6/8. So that means once this takes 2 from Magnus, it's going to trade with my 7/3 here, which is nice. So I'm going to go ahead and put this out here in the middle. So that way it's not in one of these 3 lanes. It's going to take a damage at end of turn. And then I think I want to just burn firesong prodigy so I can ignition to kill this, because this is gonna, every time this hits me, they draw a card, so I want to just take it off the table so it stops doing that. So they can trade these here, and this has overrun, so it'll hit me for a few. I think I'm okay with that trade, especially with another wings in my hand. Alright, so this gives blight when it hits something, so that's not stellar. I think I need to trade this off here, but now this is going to get -1/-1 smaller every single turn for the rest of the game. So I think because this is going to get smaller anyways, I'm just going to go ahead and eat it. So that way I can kill this anteater and not take any damage because I'm immortal. One of the nice things about the aggressive decks and the way the resource system in this game works is this deck frequently wants to stop burning cards for extra resources at like 6 to 7, whereas like mid-range and control decks technically burn like all the way up to 10.
Never pay full price.
Breach, copy one of your opponent's artifacts or enchantments and add it to your hand without the gems and the casting cost. Well, that's rude. Just ignition that one, right? Hit you for 7. I think I'm just gonna bragi. Oh, actually, I can bragi over here, right? Because this is warded, so it doesn't take damage outside of combat. So I think I just put bragi here to block whatever. So this card has a mechanic called Energy, which is kind of like Planeswalker Loyalty. It's a counter specific to this card. So he starts with 1 energy, and then once per turn, he can gain an energy to draw a card and then put a card from my hand back into my deck. And I'm actually just going to put the same card back that I drew. I think these 3 are ideal. I don't need 2 ironbelly wyverns. And then this card, when it gets to 3 energy, it can spend 3 energy to give another minion Frenzy, which lets it attack twice per turn. And if it gets to 4 energy, I can use it to draw 3 enchantment cards from my deck.
Target sighted.
Does not take retaliatory damage when attacking. Yeah, so we're in a pretty good spot here. I get to go ahead and I'm going to burn this ignition. I'm going to play Giant Stairway here. I'm going to play Daring Trapezists here and hit them for 5. And then I'm going to have this eat the Trapezists so that way I can eat this. This can hit their face, and then, even though my card's pretty good, we still want to activate this just to gain the energy. So I'm going to throw back the card we drew again, but it's right to activate this to get it to 3. We have another Rush minion here, which is really scary with the Giant Stairway. Actually, maybe I should have put this Giant Stairway over here, because if they put 1 big unit here in the middle, it blocks both my stairs.
Stay calm, citizen.
Is that all you've got?
This card gets bigger every time I deploy a minion. This card has Armor 2, Slayer 2, Piercing, so it deals 2 extra damage to opposing minions. They're dead, right? Yeah, so I don't even need to draw cards here. So we get to give this Frenzy, and then I get to Wyvern here. Wyvern hits them for 6. This can eat this to become invulnerable. This can kill this, and it is Frenzy from Bragi, so it gets to attack again. Frenzy on Ironbelly, also lethal. Lot of right ways to eat that Recess. Could have also traded this off and played the 2/2 with Rush over here as well. Yeah, color identity is not... Oh, I picked the wrong deck. Excellently. It's like I didn't want to keep playing this one. The color identity in this game, the colors are more Vorthos driven than mechanic driven. So like the most decks can like destroy creatures or kill things, but like the way in which they go about it will differ color to color, which reduces some of the feel bad moments for like you're playing a red-black deck and you can never interact with an enchantment, for example. So They burned a red carnival in the deck tracker over here. If you ever miss what your opponent's burned, you can pull them up and see what they've burned back into their deck. I think I'm gonna go ahead and burn Manny. This card costs 5 and can spend 2 to give something an extra action. So like in the late game when you're on 7, she can like give something an extra attack, which is nice, but it's not a card you want in the early game. They have a web link for the deck list. If you're on a PC, the deck list should be on the extension.
The sands are eternal.
If you are not on PC, there should be, the deck list should be under my YouTube channel from last time I played it. So this is a 3-1 that when it enters play, it enchants the lane it's going into with a desert, and the desert makes me take 1 whenever I attack this lane. I think I'm supposed to Daring Trapezists here. Like my 2 power guy is not going to race their 3-1 very elegantly. So I'm just going to play this and trade them off. Looks like they might also be playing an aggressive deck. The Journey of Souls Path is one that tends to be played inside of aggressive decks. Yeah. So Path is something that you pick during deck building. There's a ton of good deck building knobs with this game that you have access to turning. And this one says, whenever one of your minions dies, you collect a soul. And then at the start of your turn, if you have 3 souls, you pick up the bottom minion of your discard pile. The pursuit mechanic is a bonus that you get when you're on the draw in this game, which is nice because it seeks to kind of balance out some of that play-draw variance that games like Magic tend to have a lot of. I think I want to just burn this Trapezists and get my Panic Raider going down over here.
Got anything good?
Let's hit them, draw a card. We're going to take a hit from this 4-4 for a turn, but like, next turn I can burn something and play Oak over here, and then Oak can trade with this, which is nice. Ironbelly's a little annoying. Huh. Stairways, not something that I'm really interested in. I mostly just want that if I'm already ahead on board. So I think I'm going to burn this and play Oak over here. Hopefully these trade. When this dies, I get to look at the top 3 cards of my deck and draw cards. So that's pretty good for us. Kinda getting run down here. Struggy Pup's pretty good. It's a life tap minion for later. Yeah, the overlay is very well done. So gonna get rewarded here. Gonna get rewarded here for them deploying their minions next to each other. So this card, when it comes into play, it deals 3 damage to minions in the opposing 3 lanes. So when we play this out, it's gonna kill their 4-1 and knock this down to 1 toughness. And then even if they're able to kill this next turn, my Magnus will be able to clean this up. So yeah, Wyvern finishes this off, and they're gonna knock us down to 4. We're in a little bit of trouble here, or knock us down to 6. 6 is pretty low. Yes, the number of copies of cards you can have in your deck is equal to the dots in the top right-hand corner. So this is a rare, so I can have 2 copies of it. This is a mythic, I can have 1. This is a common, so I can have 4, etc. All right, so I'm going to burn Panic Raider off here, because this card loses me life, which is not great right now. I'm going to go ahead and play Magnus here, which deals 2 damage to everything when it comes into play, so clean those dorks out. And then I can go ahead and play Stroggy Pup down over here, which is a 2-1 with life tap. So hopefully this is going to help us stabilize a little bit. Yeah, I like this 42, Corey. It's felt really clean overall. Yep, that's a rush minion. That's another Stroggy Pup. Okay, so... if I attack into here, I take a damage to this enchantment, which is not ideal. So I think I want to go ahead and just give them the clap here. Yeah, I think I clap them. And they're down to 2 cards here. How many souls does that put them? Puts them to 4 souls. So they're getting back an Ironbelly next turn. So I'm going to go ahead and hit them for that, gain 2. Hit them for 4. And then do I want to play my other pup out over here so it just blocks? Probably. Alternatively, I could burn a card and put Panic Raider over here just as a blocker, but I think that's worse. I'm just gonna play Pump here. Yeah, I might have wanted to burn a card to pump this. I agree with that. We're also at the point now where like we've stabilized a little bit here.
Dangerous sands.
That's brutal. So when this comes into play, it deals 2 to something, and then when it dies, it gets to deal 3 to anyone. So, huh? Am I 1 point short of lethal? I'm 1 point short of lethal, right? Because I could do this is 4 and this is 3. That's unfortunate. If I'd have burned a card and pumped last turn, I'd have killed them here. Am I pumping pup this turn? I'm not sure that I am. I think I just want to play these out. I think I just do this. And then I don't think I make this attack because I don't want to take 1 when I attack in here. Yeah, if I would have, I missed a point the previous turn by not burning a card, so they'd have died there if I had done that. This is gonna be close now. So that dies, they get to deal 3 damage to anything. I could just be dead here. Dead to a burn spell.
Okay, one at a time.
Yeah. It comes into play, it gives a minion on a desert extraction. Super close game. Super close game. Yeah, they had to be fortunate to win at the end there, but if I play better, they just don't get the option to be fortunate.
Let's feed.
Or putting down Panic Raider to block was better than would have put them to 4. Might be better. Yeah, no idea. Thane is sweet to put out across from this. I think I'm bidding Magmataur for now. Is this the same person or a different person? I see a lot of people talking about enjoying getting punished for play mistakes, and while to a degree I think that's a good thing, I do also think it's important to acknowledge that, like, the fact that you get punished for making mistakes does actually make a game harder to get into. That's definitely not something that is appealing to a lot of players. So while big brain people enjoy it, so here I got a decision to make. I can play out Wyvern and smack them for 3, but I could play Pup plus Trapezists here too, right? And go a little bit wide. I kind of don't hate going wide and like getting Pup into play against another aggro deck. They got their pup back from this because they were on the draw. Would like to draw a blue card next turn so I can clap them.
Let's feed.
These are going to trade, sure. Alright, that's a blue card. Did I just take 1 for 1 on this clap and, like, gain my life? I kind of want to. Being up those points of life is valuable down the line.
Fortune favors us.
Yeah, I agree, Tidwell. As a new player, the paths are probably one of the toughest things to overcome. Even, I even still get got by. Like, the number of times you hear me say on stream, like, oh, I forgot winter was coming, is just, like, really high.
Got anything good?
So I definitely want to burn something this turn. It's a Magnus. I think I'm going to burn Ironbelly. Oh, I could have given this a point, right? Oops. I miss points with my hero, with my power a lot.
Reporting.
Interesting that they played this here as opposed to just using the trapezists to kill this.
Got anything good?
This Magnus is about to be real good. Hopefully they play this out here too and I just get to clean the board out. Yep, deal.
Yes, yes. Brilliant.
I'm gonna burn a red card here. Just because I want to be able to play this and do something else. Getting up to 7 resources is also good with Manny. Because Manny wants to come in on with 7 resources and play and then give something extra attack the same turn. I'm ahead on board. I'm a little bit ahead on life, but they've got so many cards in their hand right now. This is going to gas up a little bit.
Do we have a mission?
Yikes. Wings of Abaddon with eager recruits real good, just because it gives it a lot of fodder. We've got 2 souls at the moment. We're eventually going to get back a trapezist.
Feed.
To battle!
Let's feed.
Can Manny haste itself? Oh, it can, can't it? Yeah, I totally could have played Manny and eaten the wings, right? I would lose it to the daring trapezist after. But that's a good observation. Yeah, so the last balance patch, they retooled a bunch of things. This card lost Overrun, but it gained, it lost Overrun, but it also no longer has an activation cost to sacrifice things. Oh. Oh, that's really good. They just gave it Overrun with Conviction. And Slayer 3. Yikes. Well, that's an absurd draw.
Wanna burn?
Wanna burn? Alright, and then I can play this here. And say, give you a power trade. And now I think we're kind of ahead, huh? We have no souls left. They're gonna get a parry at the gates here soon.
Fortune favors us.
Yikes. So the bottom card of their pile is Parry. Stairway plus Pup could swing. Yeah. I don't know. They have so many cards though now. There is actually. This little number here is souls, I believe. Yeah. I click on it because I forget that it's there. There's a little 2 here for them, and I have 0. Pretty much everything in this game where you're like, I wish they did X, they pretty much thought of X.
Let's feed.
How many wings have they played? If they have another wings, we're pretty dead here. Oh, the animation shows the number of souls. It totally does. That's so subtle and sweet. You can't really see mine behind the chat. Let me turn mine off, but mine doesn't have any swirling, so I'm currently at 0. That's sick. Good attention to detail there. All right, they're in the tank. This makes me hope that they don't have... Am I dead? Take, kill you. Yep. Well, I was gonna say they're in the tank, so I hope that means that... we're gonna get to untap and gain a bunch of life here. Turns out not so much. Alright, let's try one more with this, and then I had a donation deck for a 3-color control deck that we're going to give a try to. The Magic Arena interface was awful and cost me a game, and I decided to, rather than turning my stream off, play some Mythgard. I was pretty close to just turning my stream off. It was bad. Been a while since I was as frustrated as that one made me. Extract Life is a card we don't want until much later. It's also triple red, so easy first burn here.
Reporting.
This card's really good against us. I guess it's not that amazing against Thane. We'll put Thane here. Yep, yeah, just like playing 1 land per turn in Magic, you can only burn 1 card per turn in this game. Dark Passenger lets them trade, that's fine. I'm gonna burn Puppy here and play Panic Raider. Pup's pretty bad in the face of their 1/1. Hit them, draw a card. They're gonna get to pick Eager Recruit back up thanks to their souls here. There aren't any what I would describe as all-in combo decks like in Magic, but there are decks that generate like big combo-ish turn finishes. But those, none of the combo decks in this game would I describe as you're all in on combo. Soul Shepherd might be really good here. I'm gonna burn this Stairway for now. We'll put Wings over here. Wings can eat the Panic Raider and eat their 4/4. Yep, it's a fine trade.
Reporting.
So I think I'm gonna burn off the ignition here and just play Soul Shepherd out over here. So if they don't have removal for Soul Shepherd right away, her paired with my rush minions will be very potent. She says whenever one of our other minions dies, we get a 2/1 Forlorn Spirit.
At last.
Well, shoot. So this card's a 4/4. When it comes into play, it gives them this Pride card, and the Pride card lets them turn something else into a 4/4 Spirit. And this card doesn't take damage from Spirit, so and put Oak over here, and put Thane in the middle and pass, I think.
Battle.
I think orange and yellow are probably the two best colors in the game right now. As far as power level of cards feels to me, at least.
Slay. Take you.
I guess I'll take Giant Stairway. This card heals every time an enemy minion dies, so it just gets to like
mission.
pound down the door, basically. I can't play both of these, which kind of sucks. I think we start here and see where I want to go. The ignition means I can drop this over here, and then I can eventually use the ignition to finish off this 4/4. I think I'm burning Panic Raider for now, too. I'm gonna play Strigoi Pup in the middle. I like have another magmataur. I just get savaged though. I think I can beat another magmataur.
Let's feed.
I have one more copy of that. Only threw a quarter of their deck.
Fortune favors us.
Gets 2/2 until end of turn. Can anybody who understands the rules of this game better than I do explain to me why Red Carnival, when your thing takes damage, it uses the Red Carnival toughness and not its actual toughness, whereas like other enchantments that modify stats don't seem to work that way? Does anybody know? But like this isn't purple, right? So like if this moved off of here, it's still alive. So like this is temporary health, right? So like this doesn't get used first. It doesn't work that way with Giant Stairway. All right, I think I want to ignition this, and then I probably want to Panic Raider this and then ignition this. Why doesn't Giants count as temporary health?
Got anything good?
Because it's not till end of turn, so end of turn is handled differently than... So end of turn health is handled differently than...
To battle!
End of turn health is handled differently than, than this type of modifier. That's the differentiation. Okay. I'm just trying to understand from a rules mechanic how I can understand when it interacts in one way and when it interacts another way. Alright, we're dead. Yeah. I don't know. I was enjoying this deck, but it seems like it's actually not that competitive. I think I'm gonna be done with this one for today. The orange-red aggro deck that we played against for like the last 3 games, I think we lost all 3 of them, right? Maybe we won 1, but these games felt like the opponent's deck just kind of ran circles around us. So probably, if you're playing an aggressive deck, you want to look into like what the last few people we were playing against are playing as opposed to this one. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and hit a quick ad roll and